Hello. Today we visit an r/AskReddit post to ask what do we need to stop teaching the children. Make sure to comment if I have missed anything or what you personally not going to teach your kids. With that, sit back and enjoy. Breakfast cereal is healthy. Don't you dare say Captain Crunch isn't healthy. It's a well-balanced, nutritional breakfast, especially when eaten out of an empty Cool Whip or butter container. Alongside that, you can stop teaching them that vegetables taste bad. Kids think vegetables taste bad not because the teacher tells them that, but because their parents fail to cook them well. The only reinforcement of this in school is with school lunches, and even then that is the fault of the taxpayer voting in jackasses who defund school lunch programs. I can second this. I thought Brussels sprouts were terrible from school books and teachers, but then I actually ate a decently cooked one and now they are my favorite vegetable. Alrighty, enough of my opinion. Back to the video. That you need talent to be good at something. Right on. So much can be learned, practiced, and become a skill. I'm a professional musician, and I get the "you're so talented" compliment all the time. I know it's meant well, but I've busted my ass to get where I am today. I tell my students that it's not about talent, it's about hard work and dedication. I've watched people with way more natural talent than me burn out because they don't know how to approach something difficult that they can't immediately play. My sophomore year of high school, I auditioned for a district-level band festival in my state. This took 40 to 50 kids on my instrument between 5 bands. I made 24th alternate. 24 other kids would have had to bail for me to be the bottom chair of the bottom band. I'm a semester away from finishing a doctorate, have a private studio, and tour the US in a professional band. It's all hard work. That failure is something to be ashamed of and to avoid at all costs. We all fail sometimes and we need to be able to accept that. It is possible to commit no mistakes and still lose. That is not a weakness, that is life. Captain Jean-Luc Picard. Not everything is a lesson, Ryan, sometimes you just fail. Assistant, to the regional manager Dwight Schrute. The goal should not be to avoid failure, but to avoid harm in failure. Let your kids go skiing, but on a hill where the ski patrol can get them medical attention if they break a leg. Let them go outside without a coat. When they get cold, and they will, ask if they have learned about cold, then give them the jacket you brought. You can deliberately let them fail so they learn how to handle failure gracefully. If he's mean to you, he likes you. I tell my daughter, it doesn't matter if he likes you, if he's not kind he's not worth your time. That distinction is so important. Being liked by or liking someone doesn't automatically make their behavior acceptable if it bothers you. I have a black eye in a preschool picture when I was 4. This boy had tried to kiss me and I wouldn't let him, so he pushed me in a huge wooden bin of wooden building blocks. I also got the worst bloody nose. I taught my kids that they never had to do something like kiss someone. I just turned 51. My experience is one of many I'll never forget. The whole being mean because you like someone typically stems from the fact that people enjoy attention from their crush, and children are often not mature enough yet to understand how to get positive attention in social situations that they don't fully understand. Now obviously that's not the only reason kids do what they do, just a contributing factor. But I think it's a fairly common trend among kids that pick on others. I personally had a phase where I went from being mean, then to bring on obnoxious, then to being more funny, playful towards people I wanted attention from. The most useful thing to my progress? People telling me how I made them feel. Statements like, "It isn't funny when you act like that. You make me annoyed and not want to be around you," were substantially more powerful than outbursts at correcting my behavior. That you need to be friends with everyone. I've had to tell my kids this. Like when kids in their class don't ever want to play with them. Not everyone wants to be your friend, and that's okay. It's funny I am constantly telling this to people with pets. It is insane to think your dog has to like every other dog it meets. What's scary is there are a lot of people out there that just assume all dogs like each other and want to play with each other. I used to be one of those people. Last year I rescued a German Shepherd and I very quickly found out that he does not like other dogs. He will tolerate most, but he really just wants other dogs to leave him alone, which is fine, but it's an added responsibility as an owner to prevent him from being in situations that he does not want to be in. Prior to my German Shepherd, I only had labs who were friendly with just about everything. That play ends when you reach adulthood. Play is important, even when we're grown. We don't stop playing because we grow old because we stop playing. George Bernard Shaw. As a kid I had about 5 board games in the cupboard and they were boring or we'd played them 100 times. I'm 40 now and our board game storage unit just ticked over 100 games. Ducking love that shit. Got all my partying out of my system between 15 to 19, met my girlfriend, could never enjoy ourselves at a club or party anymore. We now only go over to people's houses or invite them over for dinner and board games, Jackbox TV games or have our roommate who happens to be a DM run our D&D campaign. And I couldn't ask for anything more. Actually maybe a 4-person Magicka 2 and Overcooked sessions could be added. To just ignore bullies. As a former teacher, it does nothing to address the issue. The bullying persists 100% of the time. As a former bullied, what the hell goes on in the heads of the people who say this? I still feel the effects of feeling like a second-class citizen. I'm 40. I was horribly bullied in grade and middle school and am now living my best life, but it took a long time for me to realize I deserve happiness as much as the next person. I've ignored kicks to the head in the locker room and the classroom, can confirm ignoring it just shows that you'll ducking take it. It's very anti-Reddit but the best thing I ever did was fight back. Bullies want to bully, not get hit in the face. Getting hit in the face sucks. And if the schools are going to automatically punish everyone involved in a fight, anyway, might as well make it worth your time. The ignoring only seems to work if the kid being bullied tends to have emotional reactions that are considered odd. Like if a teenager starts wailing and stomping their feet over someone saying, "Your mom." The bullies are doing it to get that cringy reaction, and if the victim was able to react normally, then the bullying would stop. A lot of times the victims aren't capable of ignoring it, so the advice is kind of useless anyway. I had some girls a little younger than me try to upset me at a pool by telling me I had back hair. The wind went out of their sails when I was like, yeah? I am a mammal. Y'all have back hair too. And no emotional response. If I had shown I was upset or told an adult, they would have had more fuel to make fun of me. But it stopped because I was boring. You can get what you want if you're nice. It teaches children how to be manipulative and dishonest. Instead, teach them to handle no. Too many people grow up and get offended at being told no. Teachers and parents want their children to learn how to ask for things in a polite way but not how to handle rejection. My brother teaches children and he will actively tell kids no, and encourage them to find alternative solutions that don't infringe on someone's decision. Had to deal with this with my daughter. We were at the park and she asked another girl if she could play with one of her dolls. She said no and next thing I know there's a temper tantrum being thrown because she wouldn't share. Got shit from my ex and my parents because I explained to her that not everyone has to share and she could say no if she wanted because it was her toy. That while they are special, they are not any more special than anyone else. I regularly tell my students, all of you are unique but none of you are special. You're going to be great at a few things, but really crappy at many more. I don't believe in forced apologies. They're not legitimate apologies and the other child knows this. I also don't feel adults should force children to accept an apology. Forced apologies and acceptances don't have any benefits. I am a 3rd grade teacher. My students know I won't force an apology. Instead, I speak to the students about their choices and how it made others feel. I found that, once students realize what they did, they do apologize on their own and the other student does accept it because they know the apology is sincere. Oftentimes, students will even try to resolve the issue on their own. It's common for students to ask me if they could speak alone in the hallway. They then return proudly stating that they resolved their issue. Obviously, if something is not resolving itself, I'll continue to help students through it. I will also step in for more significant disagreements. However, I've found that students are able to resolve issues an overwhelming majority of times. However, they are never truly resolved with forced apologies and acceptances of forced apologies because the underlying issue is still there. I agree completely. I think it also teaches kids that actual reflection is unimportant so long as you say the magic words. How many times have you heard a child indignantly say, "Well, I said I was sorry," after they give a half-assed apology with no indication that they will act differently in the future? Forcing apologies just breeds resentment between kids. I before E, except after C. This rule has so many exceptions that it should not be considered a rule. Except when your foreign neighbor Keith receives 8 counterfeit beige sleighs from feisty, caffeinated weightlifters. Weird. There. That one got me so many times as a kid. To push down their feelings and never cry. You don't heal unless you work through your emotions. Support them, don't scold. I tell my kids to not let their emotions control their actions. It is okay to be emotional. To cry, be angry, etc. What is not acceptable to lash out or fall apart because of those emotions? To accept collective punishment. Whomever did something to get in trouble for us who gets the punishment. So many teachers do this to kids and it just breeds resentment for both the teacher and the kid who keeps getting the whole class in trouble. I don't want my kids to be prepared to accept this as adults, and just deal with it from the government, society, their employer, etc. Good answer. I remember a time when I was on the middle school soccer team. I was sick this particular day and I had planned on telling my coach that I was going to sit out because it was like 90 degrees and I was on the verge of vomiting. But, before I had the chance, one of my teammates, schoolmates decided it would be funny to open all of the lockers in the locker room then run around and slam them shut. Which by the way is not a terrible transgression. It's a victimless crime to be honest, he just made a lot of noise. So as punishment the entire team had to run 2 miles including me because the coach wouldn't listen to my plea for mercy. I don't know why I didn't just walk away. I guess as a kid you're taught to be reliant on adults even though I knew it was wrong. I'll never forget that horrible day. That we have to invite the entire class to your birthday party. As a teacher, I'm fine with that as long as you don't pass out the invites in front of students who aren't invited. I would never do that with a group of adults. How can you expect kids to react well? I had this in one of my class of 9-year-olds. A child went round and gave out 10 party invites and some of the children were so upset they didn't get one and questioned me about not getting one. I didn't know what to say so I just said that sometimes you're only allowed a certain number and it was probably really hard to choose who went so maybe next year she will choose you. Thankfully they accepted this answer and was happy and didn't talk about it again. Please send the invites out of school. That doctors are scary. Many parents threaten their kids with the doctor when kids don't listen to them. And then get mad at kids for being scared to go to the doctor. Yes, telling children things like, if you don't listen to me, I'll tell the doctor to give you a shot, only teaches the children that the doctor's office is a bad place and makes things difficult for everyone. Alrighty, time for the lightning round. Here we go. You are perfect. No, you are not. It's important to know your weaknesses and focus on your strengths. That you have to give relatives a hug or kiss if they ask for one. That you are only successful and happy with a college degree, married, and have children. That active shooter drills are normal. They are not. Food pyramid as it is. It's wrong. That it's acceptable to use devices in public loudly without headphones. Stop teaching kids what to think, and start teaching them how to think. All this gender identity stuff, they're kids and shouldn't have anything in regards to adult fun time and how to identify with that being introduced to them at such a young age. Crazy world we live in. Boys will be boys, yes they roughhouse, that's fine. Every kid does it. But saying it when they pull another kid's hair or doing something else to be mean or get a reaction from that other person because they have a crush on you, is something to stop teaching kids. With that, thank you for watching all the way until the end and don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment I have missed anything or what you personally not going to teach your kids. If you want to continue to watch my content click one of the videos above. Until next time.